Hey, everybody. Welcome to Valley Chat. Pastor John Carolus, joined today by a couple of very special guests, Kip Fox and Jen Hodges, who you may or may not recognize around our Shepherd family. But today we're going to talk about a couple of things that they are involved with, most primarily the Songwriter Initiative that Kip is the director of out of Concordia Irvine, as well as Jen and some of her work as worship director on our Mountain View campus, and also just a chance to share more of the gifts that they have and appreciate them as leaders in our church. Jen, Kip, thanks for jumping on today. And Jen, we're going to start with you. Can you just share your sort of shepherd journey and your background a little bit?
I came out to Arizona to study at ASU. I have a background in classical piano performance and taught a full studio for several years and, also led worship and played piano accompaniment for choirs in various churches. And I want to say 2013. Oh man, 2013, the opportunity came to teach classroom music at Shepherd Day School. And I jumped at the opportunity. Everyone was just so kind, amazing. What a beautiful community. And I've been here since. I was already um, leading worship, helping the then worship director on Sundays at Mountain View. And it just kind of naturally happened where I am here, where I am today. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. And it is pretty special to have you leading the band on Sundays at Mountain View, and really the excellence and the quality of worship there. It's not only like great, but it's a blessing to me and to the rest of our team and to everyone that calls Shepherd home. So thanks for what you do and for how you do it. Kip, now you and your wife Michelle call Shepherd home as members. You've been a part of a few churches in the Valley, but how did you end up here? And where might other church members see you from time to time?
Yeah, so Michelle and I settled on Shepherd a few years back after I moved out of full-time worship directing. I'd been a director of worship, or a director of parish music, as our Lutheran church body calls it, for over 20 years. And at the same time, I was always a songwriter and a writer of church music. And so when the opportunity came and what we now call the Songwriter Initiative of the Center for Worship Leadership at Concordia University Irvine, once that grew, we started that in 2019. It grew so quickly and so fast that I went into full-time directorship of the initiative. And so when that happened, Michelle and I, our eldest, had already been going to Shepherd Preschool, and we loved it there, loved the people there. We also had a newborn who is now entering this fall into preschool 3s. And so we loved the people at Shepherd. We loved the school and the staff. We got to know the pastors. And so we felt like it was a great time for us to become members at Shepherd. And you can find us, both Michelle and I, pretty much every Monday through Friday at pick up and drop off at preschool, and then mostly on the Mountain View campus on Sundays.
And sometimes you jump in and join the band on occasion.
That's right. Sometimes I wish I could do more, but Jen and the team are always gracious to have me, and I love doing it.
It's pretty special that you jump in and help with that, because whether you're on stage or not, do sing a lot of the music that you contribute to and have helped bring into the world that now our church and churches around the country use week to week. And so we're really thankful for that opportunity and the gift that you bring in that way as well. And that gives a picture of kind of the work that the Songwriter Initiative accomplishes, at least from a very sort of practical point of view. Your team put together resources and events that then bring together songwriters and artists and musicians, and then through these retreats and these workshops, music is produced that then is shared with the wider church body and sung by congregations to lift up praises to God, to teach ourselves the truth of His Word and the promises that He has for us. And it's a really beautiful project, and it speaks to the legacy of Lutheran church, certainly over the last few centuries, but really church in general is a place where music and song are brought into being to the glory of God. And so we rejoice at that. And Jen, you weren't a part of Songwriter Initiative back in 2019, but you are one of these
Mhm.
people who have become a part of that really expansive
Mhm.
growth that now Kip is sort of captaining. Can you talk about what your involvement and has been like and how it's impacted your work as a worship director with us at Shepherd?
Oh man. So last year, Kip asked me, "Hey, why don't you come on this songwriter retreat that we have in the summer?" And I think the first thought was, I'm just intimidated. I've maybe written like a handful of songs in my life, and but here goes nothing, and it has been the most beautiful experience ever. And the opening night that we went, we just all got to sing and glorify and praise God in an opening worship service. And man, something about everyone that can sing really well worshiping together. I mean, it's just like a small glimpse of what maybe heaven would be like. And it's a beautiful thing. But since joining, I just get really excited to share all the beautiful songs that are written by TSI. And that it's always going to be, rich and sound in scripture. And I don't have to worry as much about, vetting the songs in a way, making sure
Yeah.
that it is good for us to sing all together. And also just the people, we see each other once a year. And I mean, other than Kip, right? But we see each other once a year, and everyone just kind of catches up and remembers who you are and asks about how you are doing and how your congregation's doing, and it's just been a blessing in my life for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's really cool to hear and to see since you've been involved, just like from where I sit, the positive impact that it's had on you, and then knowing and
Mm.
seeing and feeling the impact for our congregation in the work that's going on. And so maybe that's a little bit of an answer to this question, Kip. But can you talk a little bit about what keeps pushing you to press into this project and give more and work harder in, committing now what is, I don't know if it's full time necessarily, but it's the main thing you're doing, and that takes a lot of effort. Can you talk about really what keeps motivating you for that?
Yeah, absolutely. What drives me to really is to that just discovering the sheer amount of folks we have in our Lutheran churches around this country that have this vocation of songwriting. Some folks like Jen, who again may feel timid about it, but truly do have gifts, great musical gifts, and a beautiful heart to write songs for their church. So just continually finding and discovering those people and getting them connected is just a ton of fun. And then on top of that, seeing the impact that these songwriters are having on their congregations in big ways and small ways. And so we have the music that we publish for sure, the music that, as Jen said, is vetted, right? That is doctrinally reviewed and but is also just beautiful and really finding songs that best suit corporate worship is a ton of fun. But then these small ways in which every songwriter is a part of their own congregation and they can use those gifts and learn and grow, whether grow slowly, grow quickly, gather people together and create all these different, just every single congregation having their own voice is really beautiful to see. And then I get to see all the story after story come back to see how God has used each individual through songwriting to serve their church. So, I mean, it makes me excited every day to go to work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like something I feel like we're really good at teaching people and preaching to people is that God invites us into his creative work and we get to collaborate and participate with him in generating new things in the world. And
Mhm.
we talk about that really well with sort of people in worldly vocations. And I think we get to see it in a lot of church work vocations, but sometimes maybe there's a misconception about worship leadership where it's like, you just sort of are following a script every single week, but this project seems to really bring to life that opportunity to generate new things, to be creative, to participate
Mhm.
in God's work of making new things happen on a church by church level, but also across the whole country. It's really special. Jen, as you now and some of what you shared, speaks to this really beautifully. But you know, because you've been there, that some people may be curious or interested in this program, but for whatever reason, they feel like maybe they aren't ready to take that next step. How would you encourage someone to take a leap of faith and to get involved with the Songwriter Initiative?
Mm. I think I want to share a story and it'll be my answer, but
Yeah.
a story that was shared by one of our guest writers and speakers at the retreat. Her name is Becca Mizell, and I mean, so many accolades, great, songs written with amazing artists. But she shared during her testimony that um, she keeps thinking about the boy with the 2 fish and 5 loaves, and clearly it is not enough to feed all the thousands of people that are following Jesus, but he offered it anyway. And Jesus is the one that blessed it, and he made the miracle happen. And I just want to share also that, whenever I write a song or even just singing a song on Sundays, I always think I'm just a little person. I have nothing to offer except this. And it is up to God to bless it and use it how he wants to. And he is greater and far capable of better things than we can even imagine. So that's the story I want to share.
Yeah.
So go for
Wow. Thank you.
it.
Thank you. Yeah. And
Yeah, I
so
think one of the
true.
interesting things about the cool things about the initiative is that we honestly have folks from their late teens all the way into their late 70s, from every walk of life, in every vocation, not folks inside and outside of ministry, folks
Mhm.
that pursue music hours on end, and some that just have a couple of quiet moments a day, and every skill level. And the way that God uses those relationships is really neat. So even if you just feel like Jen is saying, like you just have these 5 loaves and 2 fish, and you see a world of billions of people or thousands, in the case of the story of the 5 loaves and 2 fish, uh, we have seen time and time again just these little contributions and what God does with them, just some of the most amazing things. So don't be afraid to join the Songwriter Initiative. You can go to the songwriterinitiative.com, or you can just reach out to Jen or myself and we can get you connected. We have an online Slack community, so every day online there's folks sharing from all over the country. We have monthly Zoom gatherings where we share songs, and you can just come watch and see if it's something that you like, or if it's the kind of thing that interests you. And then, of course, we have these annual camps that are national and then regional as well. So there's you can really do baby steps to join, or you can just jump right into the deep end. But as Jen said, no matter how small of a contribution you think you might have, if you want and you feel this calling in your life to write songs about God, to God, for His church, or for your friends and family and neighbors, by all means, take that step.
Yeah, thank you, Kip. The Songwriter Initiative is one piece of the many sort of resources and communities that Concordia Irvine's, Center for Worship leadership has built up for the church. And if you're someone like me, who is familiar with the church on, kind of a political level, and sometimes when you get into the weeds about how things function bureaucratically or governmentally or different things, and there can sort of be a loss of saturation in kind of the picture of faith or the picture of church. And yet the community of people that are involved in these resources, Songwriter Initiative, Center for Worship Leadership, you have such a really powerful and contagious joy. And so I see it when Jen goes to the Songwriter Retreat and comes back and is just, kind of in this completely refreshed sort of headspace. And then when I've participated in the Wally Summit events that take place around the country, it's like getting together with a group of people that are just joyfully serving the Lord and not getting caught up in some of the things that sometimes we can get caught up in. And it's just edifying and encouraging and joyful. And it's not just, if you're not a songwriter, you're not excluded from experiencing some of the blessings that God has for people through this. So, Kip, if you don't mind just touching real quick on what some of those opportunities might be for people that don't have musical or songwriting specific kind of talent, would you mind just kind of sharing a quick invitation to some of those things?
Yeah, there's a few things. So first of all, we have the Center for Worship Leadership, of which the Songwriter Initiative is one of the initiatives, has a podcast now called the Lutheran Worship Podcast. It's for anyone who is definitely for folks that are practicing as called workers or workers in the church. Especially in the area of worship ministry. But if you're interested in what worship is and what Lutheran worship is, there are all sorts of interesting podcast episodes that really dive deeply into why we do what we do and what makes us distinct from other denominations or other practices. So the podcast is kind of fun. I think it's really fun, but I'm one of the hosts, so try not to. No, it's a great time. We have an incredible worship tool, but it's also a resource tool called weaveworship.com, WEAVE, like weaving a basket, weaveworship.com, which has all of our resources, but also every resource, every hymn in every Lutheran hymnal going back the last century, with all sorts of explanation on different songs and different liturgies, all those things. Then John mentioned the Wally Summit. So the Wally is a worship arts leader initiative, and that is really a summit, a conference for folks of any vocation, volunteers or folks that work in ministry in any capacity, to come, like John said, and just sort of joyfully gather and be refreshed by one another. And then again, the resources themselves from the Songwriter Initiative and the Psalm Library. If you go to the songwriterinitiative.com, you will see we have over 50 songs that we've released in the last 3 years, and we've got another 8-song EP coming this fall, one coming in Advent, and I'm working on those now. But these resources are free, and for folks who can read, like we have piano accompaniment for every song for those great piano players out there, or just word lyric charts for folks that just want to play along and sing. And so those resources as well are accompanied by liturgical frameworks and readings, and Shepherd has used some of those. You might find them familiar. All of these things are visible and available at cui.edu/CWL, Center for Worship Leadership. So again, the Center for Worship Leadership is based at Concordia University Irvine. And I'll add one more thing. All of these resources are donor funded. So we've had a tremendous amount of growth, and we've seen incredible things happen throughout our churches, but it's all because generous folks are always giving to this mission. So if you're interested in that at all you do is add the word give to that URL I just gave, which is cui.edu/CWL/give, and you'll see how you can give to the Center for Worship Leadership.
All right. Yeah, so many resources, so many great encouragements for the church, and I just appreciate you both in the way that your heart and your work and your faith speaks into and encourages me, my family, and my church family especially as well. So thank you guys for jumping on Valley Chat today. And as we continue our way through the summer, we'll be talking about all kinds of different things. But in the meantime, God bless you and keep you, and we'll talk to you soon.